All right, Vic.
Yeah.
Vic, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Man, look, I was born in Michoacán, Mexico. I was brought here to the United States at an early stage, when I was 2 years old. I kind of got raised in the San Gabriel Valley area, towards like Irwindale, West Covina, you know. It was kind of rough because my parents got separated when I was very, very young, you know. And so I didn't know right from wrong, you know. And so I grew up seeing shit that I wasn't supposed to, excuse my language, you know. Not that I could blame my parents for it, you know. It's just shit that happens in life in general, you know. But yeah, I didn't graduate from high school because my girlfriend ended up being pregnant, and so I dropped out of high school and put her through high school. And I remember getting a fake social and getting a job. My first job was a moving company. The name of the company was Leone Interiors. And that was one of the best jobs I ever had. And the owner was the best ever, you know? His son, too. His son was good people. What I used to like about that job was that it was fire and water damage insurance company. So it was kind of like a moving company, but whatever was fire damage would be total loss. And so we were allowed to get whatever was total loss, you know? And man, you'd be surprised what people didn't want, you know? Like just because it either got a little bit yellow or couldn't remove the smell, or man, when you don't got it like that, you appreciate the you know, the littlest things, you know, which I mean, I didn't know about brands and shit like that, you know, like until I was growing up, like later on down the line, you know. But when I was a kid, I didn't know about Nike, Adidas, and all Reeboks, none of that shit, you know. But my mom did try to give me the most, you know.
Tell me about your parents.
Okay, so my parents, my dad has always been a hardworking man, but unfortunately, when I was growing up, he was an alcoholic, you know. And I remember the fucked up parts, not the good parts, you know. And so I have a lot of resentment and hate towards him, you know. One is that I look just like that motherfucker, and second is that I never got none of the benefits that my other brothers did, you know. Like my dad hasn't co-signed for none of my houses. My dad hasn't been there to fucking, you know, see me get my driver's license and shit like that, you know. But yeah, he used to physically abuse me when I was a little kid, you know, because he used to claim that I wasn't a son, you know. And I didn't know, I didn't understand till later on down the line. You see, in Mexican people, which is hardworking people, which is my dad, the only thing that I inherited off of him was how to work. Like, I mean, he made me into a beast, you know. Like when it comes to like work ethic, I do everything to the 100 and some, you know. And like, I love tools. I love tools because of him. I can't say that that he has taught me how to use them, but he kind of like embedded. It was that word I'm looking for. Embedded that into my life, you know, into me, into the way I'm wired, you know. And so, but yeah, so my dad, he had a landscaping business, a big landscaping business. And so first he was working he went to Florida first to save money for us, so he could bring us over here to the United States. He got us permanent resident cards, and his dream was for us to take over the business, right? Me and my brothers. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, you know? Like I mean, how many, I don't know how, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that their parents want them to follow their footsteps, and you know, but that wasn't my dream. That wasn't what I wanted to do, you know? Me, I've always liked to draw, you know? I like to draw, and I like to build things, and I'm into arts and crafts, you know? Like, and I like to actually build stuff, you know? It doesn't matter. It could be anything, even in fixing it. I like to take pride and step back a little bit and like, oh shit, I did that, you know? I shot that, you know? My main thing is welding. But so where I'm getting at, before I get off track. So my dad, he went to Florida, and he used to be one of the labor workers that actually pick oranges, you know, off of trees and shit. So I could only imagine how rough it was for him, you know, having to save up all that money to bring me, my mom, and my other brothers, you know. And he did this all at one time because he said that he was gonna be damned if we were separated, you know, or one at a time. And so when I was growing up, I had to live in a room. You know, I remember being in a room with my mom, my dad, and my brothers. You know, and I don't remember it being like horrible or like painful or none of that shit. Like the room part, you know, because I felt like some type of like comfort. You know, like being like in a small area. You know, just with them. You know, I felt secured. You know, but because my mom was there. So my dad needed help building this landscaping business, and my dad has always had trust issues. So he brought one of his brothers, his youngest brother, because he was not behaving good in Mexico, right? And so to help him out, and he thought that he was doing a good deed, but little did he know, you know. So he brought his brother, but see, the thing about that is that it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, I put myself, because of my mom, like, I don't judge the book by its cover. I don't judge anybody, because you just don't know what that person's been through or who that person is, you know? And, I mean, man, there's just no words to explain how fucked up it feels to be judged without somebody knowing you. What I tell people is that it's a privilege that I even fuck with you. It's a privilege that you even know me, you know, because I'm that motherfucker that's I don't care who it is. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And if I see something wrong, best believe I'm gonna speak up on it. And I've gotten in a lot of wrecks before because the way I am, you know. I was raised by my mom, and I got nothing but daughters. I got 4 daughters, you know. And I try to do a good deed every day, you know, and not expecting anything in return. The only thing I do ask is, like, God, don't help me, but help my kids, you know? Because I know how to help myself. And so by me helping somebody else, I feel like down the line, karma is going to get my babies, you know?
Did your mom remarry?
Yeah. Yes, my mom remarried. So this is what happened. So my dad was an alcoholic. And so he fucking always had, and the worst part is that he never even did drugs, so you can't say he wigged out. He was just plain, like, I don't know what my mom exactly did to make him feel that way, or if it was being away from home and him having to work hard and fucking save money so he could bring us over here, and maybe it wasn't what he expected. But he used to beat up on my mom. He used to beat up on me. And, you know, I didn't understand why this would happen to me. I would just be watching TV, and out of nowhere, I would get an ass whooping, you know? And my mom would beg him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. Like, and you want to know what? I don't really want to talk much about, like, him hitting me in that part, but, I mean, no kid deserves to get hit like that, man. Like, to where, like, back then it was, like, the belt, you know? Like, where, like, shit, you could tell you know, like when your skin fucking, you know, gets swollen and shit, and you can see the imprint on it. I remember having little dots of blood in the print of, like, the belt and shit, you know. And if I didn't stay quiet, like, imagine that, having to get a beating as a little kid, and then fucking having to shut the fuck up and stay quiet, or else you're gonna fucking get more. And my mom would actually, like, kind of cover my mouth, but not cover my breathing. And that's why I'm big on, like, domestic violence shit, you know? Like, yeah, I understand that sometimes women push your buttons, you know? But I mean, if you're beating on a woman for just because you're fucking paranoid because you think she's cheating on you or some bullshit, that's horseshit. You feel me? And I think that you should have the brains enough to fucking actually step back, pause, and say, fuck, man, what am I doing? No, I don't give a fuck how you put it. No, man, nobody has a right to hit nobody. Yeah, I've used violence as a solution before, but it wasn't my first choice. And so my stepdad is my uncle, because my uncle used to see my uncle is like my dad figure. If I'll tell you this much, if my dad were to pass away right now, my real dad, I wouldn't even cry. I wouldn't shed not one tear. And it's not that it's not because of the hate. It's just that I never even had a fucking father-son relationship with him. And the worst part is that he never even tried, like now that I'm grown up, like I'm even more pissed, because like, no, I mean, I didn't deserve that shit, I wanted to have my pops there, like my dad and shit, but luckily, my uncle, kind of like, I don't know, I guess he walked into the wrong fucking, situation, because my mom was real pretty, and my mom is beautiful. She still is now. That's my mom's. And well, see, my older brother was the one that got spoiled. The one that, I mean, got to go to the swap meet with him, to walk around on Saturday and Sunday and shit, I got to stay home with my mom, which I didn't mind at all, because we used to either like color or just talk, like that's one of the things that me and my mom used to always do, like talk about my day, I really miss that. But so my brother never look, my dad used to beat my mom. My uncle used to see that shit, and he couldn't take it no more, and he started fucking, just telling my dad, like not to be hitting us, and like getting into fights with him. And I don't know how it happened. I just remember like clips of it, because I mean, I was young, but I do, and me, I guess down the line, like I guess down deep inside me, inside my heart and my soul, my head, my brain, everything, like I knew that it was wrong, because like, why would my uncle and my mom hide to kiss, or to hug, and they would tell me to. So yeah, I guess one day they got caught, and I came home, and I came home to this. I remember I was in what, I think it was like third grade, because I was like what 9 years old, and my mom was beat up, bloody. My stepdad was bloody, beat up, and my dad's small. And he beat the dog shit out of my uncle, and my mom at the same time. I guess he finally caught them either kissing or doing something, and so I had to make a decision when I was a little kid, like, and I mean, I didn't know if I was gonna hurt his feelings. I didn't. All I knew was that he was fucking hitting me, and that it was torture, So when he asked me, like, okay, motherfuckers, like that, but in Spanish, orale, hijos de su puta madre, like, who you gonna go with? You gonna stay here, or you gonna leave with the puta? I didn't understand what puta was, but like, my mom's not a puta. She just seen a way out of a toxic relationship, and yeah, and she was thinking about me, because he used to do the most, like my mom, after they got separated, that I left with my mom, we didn't have nowhere to live. I remember that all he fucking was, all she was allowed to take was like a bag of clothes, because like he didn't want her taking clothes and shit, and I don't know how she managed to take one of the trucks, but that little S10 truck was our truck for the longest, man. And man, I used to ride in the middle, and I used to love that shit, and my uncle became like my dad, like, and it was kind of like it was like having two moms almost, because like I don't know if he was trying to like win points with me, but he didn't need to do all that, because like I already thought big of him, because like he saved us, kind of. But and so when I left with them, like I remember making him promise that he would never hit us, right? And he made that promise to me. And so what's crazy is that life has unexpected fucking turns, and people do change, and people do get evil, I'm gonna, a long story short, my dad, he never, he still doesn't acknowledge me as a son, and I look just like him, but better.
Were gangs a part of your life?
They were and they weren't. I always liked it. Like I was always like popular at school. Like you could say I was popular. Like I wasn't no lame. Like I wasn't no fucking J-Cat or anything like that. But I did play freshman football. And I don't know. I've always been a people person. Like I've always like talking to people. And like being involved with things. Never been afraid to speak to women. I gotta thank my mom for that. I actually get along better with women. Like I think because like I play like the alpha role. Like I initiate shit. Like I'm the leader. Like I don't really like. I can't say I don't like taking orders, because I do to a certain point. But I'm good at. I rather be the one like initiating things, or like if I could find a better solution to something, I will. And I like to speak my mind. Like I don't sugarcoat it for nobody, and I don't keep nothing on my chest. Because that shit is toxic. It'll eat you up. But yeah, and so my brother never got the fact that that my mom got with my uncle. They got disgraced from the family for many years, a lot of years, and they were just like every time, like my mom, like she would force me to go visit my dad, and I didn't want to go visit him, so I would beg her not to take me, because like there was nothing there. Like she would just take me, and like I would just sit in the living room or be sitting outside. He wouldn't even talk to me. He wouldn't even fucking look at me. So I hated it, and so I would pretend like I would go inside the house, and as soon as my mom would leave, I would just go and sit on the curb until she would come pick me up. Even house parties, like my aunts had to come get me from the street or like down the street, because they started catching on to me. So yeah, they would come get me down the street, because like it was embarrassing, like to have your dad fucking drunk as fuck at a party and then get all sentimental and fucking in front of everybody fucking scream at you that you're not his son, to get the fuck out of his house when you're just a fucking little kid. I didn't understand, But in the fucked up part is that I still don't understand why he still hasn't tried to make amends with me, or why he hasn't apologized for that, But my stepdad, I see him as my dad, even though he did what he did, And I mean, now it's a funny story that now guess who got fucked over? I did, because I don't have a relationship with my family. My mom moved to Florida soon after I had my family. I was only like 17 going on 18, and I already was having a baby, And from one day to another, she's like, "Oh, you want to start having babies, huh? Well, guess what? You have 2-3 months, tops 3 months, to find yourself a place. We're gonna help you. We're gonna leave you everything, our furniture or our vehicles, everything, for you to start your family. But you're on your own. We're moving to Florida." Didn't bother to ask me if I wanted to go with them, and I don't know. I guess I just understood, like that it was my mom's time to start a new family, with my stepdad, because by this time I already had two sisters and a brother. You know, by their marriage.
And you have 4 kids?
I have 4 daughters. Yeah, and so
have you done prison time?
I've done prison time. Yeah, I got 4 terms on me. Being a drug user, you know, like I started messing around since I was 13 years old with dope, you know.
What drug?
Crystal meth, and of course weed, you know. But I've never been no heroin addict or like a cokehead or rockhead, none of that shit, you know. And I had a good teacher, my brother. No, I think I don't know, but I think that drugs open your mind to another realm and kind of like make you see things that that you regularly don't see, because like it enhances your brain cells or something, you know, like. But don't quote me on that shit, and no, it's not good to do drugs, and I wish I would have never fucking started.
Are you still using today?
Hell yeah, every fucking day. I wake up with a bowl. And my favorite thing to do is wake up, smoke a bowl, and eat some cereal while I'm smoking a bowl. Frosted Flakes and cold ass cereal. I mean cold ass milk. It's
and crystal meth.
Yeah, and crystal meth. It's fucking Champ's breakfast, you know.
You can sprinkle the crystal meth on your Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, on the Frosted Flakes. Yeah, no.
That's what I do.
Yeah. I actually like to hit the bong, you know, and eat. I don't know. I also like to drink beer with Twinkies. I mean, shit. Yeah. So a lot of people trip out on that, but I don't know. To each his own, right? Right now.
Where are you living now?
Well, right now I'm kind of like housed somewhere, but it's just temporarily, you know. And but you know what? It doesn't. I mean, I don't know how I do it, you know. Even when it's bad, like I'm blessed, you know. It's hard to explain it, you know.
How are you making money?
Man, look, I know how to do a little bit of everything. I do side jobs for people that I know. I sell myself I talk to my Spanish community people, you know, to my dones, to las doñas, you know, like, and I explain myself to them, and I tell them, don't pay me until you see me work, you know, or look, I got no shame in saying this shit. I dumpster dive, and for some freaking reason, I always find good stuff, man. Believe it or not, everything I'm wearing is from the trash.
Really?
Everything.
What's the best thing you ever found in a dumpster?
The best thing you could find in a dumpster is gold. Or money, of course.
Really?
Yeah, but I mean, I like to find antiques, you know, because like me and my mom, we had to do the most, you know, like from making fucking line at the food banks to fucking checking the Salvation Army so we could do a yard sale on weekends, you know. And that's where I kind of like started liking antiques and shit, you know, and started like watching Antique Roadshow and shit, you know, like when I was a little kid. And I don't know. And then the insurance company, my first job too, like we would go into these big ass mansions and I would see like a gang of fucking antiques and like fancy shit, you know, ivory. I don't know, just like badass desks, you know, like I don't know, and like there's I don't know, I just like antiques, you know, like to have something there that's that old, you know, like damn, and it's valuable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But right now the only thing that I'm looking forward to is that my girl comes back to me. Sometimes we make mistakes, you know. Jump to conclusions and shit, but people don't understand that once you speak, once you say something, it's a wrap. You can't take it back. And I believe with all my heart that the tongue is the most powerful fucking weapon in the world. Because if you know how to speak and you tell that person the right words, you can do anything. You can manipulate anybody. but you got to use it for good, you know. Unfortunately, some people use it for bad, you know. And that's where I have a hard time explaining to my girl, you know, that once you say some stupid shit, there's no more, oh, I was just playing, you know, because you already planted that seed there.
What's your biggest regret?
My biggest regret is I was gonna say it, but then I was like, no, because I love my kids. And they were no mistake. But I wish that I would have waited a little bit longer. So maybe I would have gained more experience as a father, as a man, to like know what the responsibility is, you know. I wish I would have gave them more. They didn't. My kids they're fucking badasses. They're all straight A students. They all graduated with fucking honors and shit. My third oldest is going to college out of state. The oldest is a tattoo artist and she's fucking badass. And the second, she's just I call her my little astronaut because she's studying mechanical engineering and she's a fucking genius, you know, like. And her mentality is like, I ain't getting my hands dirty. I'm gonna have a job to where like I could pay somebody to do that for me, you know. And
were you there to raise your 4 daughters?
I was there through when they were kids, when they were still young. But I wasn't there like high school time, you know. I was in and out of prison, in and out of the county, and but my baby mama did a good ass fucking job. My baby mama is what you call a normie. What I call a normie, you know, like she don't know about fucking like smoking weed or like crystal meth and fucking, you know, like none of that shit, you know, like. And so I'm glad that I have a good baby mama. I have a good relationship with her now. She left me because I wouldn't stop cheating, you know, and I've grown so much. Like I look back at what I did to her, things I used to do, and it just doesn't make no fucking sense. I up until this day I still ask her like, why'd you put up with so much of my fucking bullshit? Like I don't understand, you know, like I guess she was in love with me, you know. And I mean, we do have 4 daughters together, you know. And she did fucking live with me for 9 years, you know. I know her since we were little kids. Our my house and her house were back to back almost, like we were growing up at, you know. And she was a little tomboy. My baby mom was a tomboy, and she was all in love with me, and I was like, I used to look at her like, what the fuck, like. You look like a boy, you know, like what the and then she's like, you want me to change that? And I was like, yeah. I didn't think nothing of it till the next day, you know, when she came in with some tight ass pants, and it was during that era of the lugs boots, nice little lugs, her hair dyed, her nails done. I didn't even know she had I didn't even know she had titties, you know, like or that she had big breasts until like I seen her wearing a blouse. And oh man, yeah,
that did the trick.
I still love her. She knows that. But I wish her the best, you know. I love her enough to let her be happy. And she's done a good. If it wasn't for her and my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, I don't know where my kids would be at. They played a big part in my kids' lives, you know. My mother-in-law is a saint, you know. She's just so innocent, you know. And my kids love my daughters. They love her, you know. Like, and let's not talk about my father-in-law, because fuck, that fool's a straight G. Always been a hardworking man. He's an alcoholic too, but he never fucking missed work because he had a hangover. Never. I can not say nothing bad about my father-in-law or my mother-in-law, you know. And I mean, shit.
Where do you think you're going to be in 5-10 years?
Actually, I want to be behind a desk. It doesn't take much, you know, like, to run your own business. I want to run my own business. Look, I'm 41 years old right now. I'm gonna be 42 pretty soon, and there's no such thing as being late. It's late when you give up. When you just stop caring, you know. I don't think I've ever stopped caring, you know. Like even though I ain't got shit, guess what? I got it all.
No, but that crystal meth of yours,
I got it all.
That's gonna fuck you up,
man. I've tried every formula, from being a freaking Christian to freaking being sober.
The crystal meth problem is gonna get in the way, though. No.
Yeah, you're right. There's no such thing as a functional tweaker, you know? It just isn't. I mean, everybody is different. Everybody's unique and different, you know? Unfortunately, meth affects other people different. Look at me. I stay in the fucking street, but I shower every fucking day. I stay with fucking, you know, cleaning underwear, clean socks and shit, you know?
Yeah, but you got no car, you got no house, you got no taxes to pay.
Where I was getting at is like, other motherfuckers that stay in the street, why can't you be doing the same thing I do? You know? Why instead of hating on me, why don't you come ask me like, hey, how do I get on point? You know, like how do you manage to do okay, even though you're living in the street? Oh, I make something out of nothing. Literally, I could sell you anything, man. If people were to buy dirt, I would sell them dirt.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody in the streets who's really doing well.
Yeah.
They might tell you they are, but nobody's.
Yeah. Reality is, I never went back home. I haven't been home in a long time. After me and my baby mama got separated, well, she left me, you know. She got tired of it, of the cheating, and she got her payback with one single blow. When I was in prison, so we broke up, right? And she moved into her parents' house. I turned in the apartment, and I was living in the shop. I was working at a welding shop at the time, and stealing cars at the same time. And I got caught up. I got caught for, you know, felony evading in GTA. And so I didn't get a chance to fucking fix my relationship with her. And so I kind of just went away. And so, I mean, when a girl is hurt, like, she's vulnerable, you know? First motherfucker that says what's up when she's hurt, guess what? Yeah. And so she had a son with somebody else. Let me remind you that my daughters were no mistake. They were actually planned. Like I was trying to have a boy, you know? Maybe, no, not maybe. I know so. I know that I was trying to have a boy with her because I wanted a son, you know, like, for me to like treat him good, because I didn't get treated good, you know? I wanted to be able to show him like everything I knew how to do, you know, like, believe it or not to pop my collar or anything, but I know how to work, you know. I really know how to do things. And maybe that's why, you know, like, everybody's so upset with me, you know, like my family, my baby mama, my kids, because they know that I know how to do a little bit of everything, and I am capable of doing so many fucking things, but I don't, because unfortunately I'm happy, you know. I'm happy the way I am right now. Me doy mis gustos. I please myself. If I want to fucking drink today, I drink. If I want to get high, I get high. You feel me? I don't cheat anymore. And that's where, like, you know how, like, when your reputation follows you, it doesn't matter. You know, you can say that you don't cheat, and as long as you have a bad rep, guess what? You're always gonna be a cheater. So yeah, I'm a womanizer. Sometimes I feel like it's a curse, because even when I'm not looking for it, I don't know, maybe it's the way I am. Like, I don't know. My girl says, why the fuck do I have to put on a cape for everybody? What the fuck? Like, it don't matter if it's a man or a woman. Like I'll still help out. You know, it could be a fucking old ass lady or old ass man. Like if I see fucking that I could help, why the fuck not? You know, it's just in like, oh, it's in my heart. You know, like even when I'm even sometimes when I try to be mean to motherfuckers, like I end up breaking it down. Like, hey, my bad for fucking, you know, getting loud with you or whatever. I didn't mean to fucking hit you in the face, you know, or like I didn't mean to do that to you, or I don't know. I guess God puts conviction in my heart all the time, you know. Makes me realize and shit, you know. I love to be corrected though. Some people can't take criticism. Guess what? I do.
It's a good quality.
Yeah, makes me better.
It does.
And so I like to hear advice. I don't have to take it. I'll take what I could use in my life or whatever situation I'm going through, you know. And if I talk shit to you, it's not to bring you down, but to pick you up, you know, like, and I mean, not even, I don't care. I don't sugarcoat it. I mean, yeah, there's words to tell somebody, but I choose my words with children. But with grown-ups, or like grown-ass man or a girl, like, man, come on. Messing with that shit, you know, like give it to them raw, you know. Why are you gonna pamper them or sugarcoat it when fucking it's reality, you know, like, because ain't nobody gonna look. If I don't get up from where I was fucking at today, ain't nobody gonna come fucking tell me like, hey, are you hungry? Are you okay? Can I buy you something? Can I give you a ride somewhere? Ain't nobody gonna come fucking check on my welfare. It's never been like that. I've been thrown to the wolves at an early stage, you know, and I fend for myself, you know. Some people fucking ask me why I'm so tough on certain people, or why do I have to like be so hard sometimes. It's not that I'm hard. It's just that I have to conduct myself more like on point, more like with respect, and like fucking, you know, I pay attention to everything. And if anybody knows how the fucking street life is, I know how to live regular life. I know about paying fucking bills, paying rent, fucking, believe me, I know. And I know how to survive in the street too. And I know the streets is fucking, it's a cutthroat game. You feel me? And it just takes one mistake for you to, you know, to do. I mean, it could be all bad, you know? And so I conduct myself with respect to the most I can, you know, because shit, if you know how to conduct yourself, you could go to infinity and beyond, man. And I go into anybody's hood. I don't gangbang, but look, it's the way you speak to the homies, you know, like shit, you explain yourself, you know, and it ain't breaking it down. It's just like I don't man, I don't stutter for nobody when it comes to like to shit like that, you know, like where they question me or like, take off your shirt, homie, prove to us that you ain't from the hood, you know, like the fuck, you know what? I am gonna do that, but out of respect towards you, because like I am in your hood, like it's common sense, you know. You can't fucking go against the grain on something that, and because I live in the street, like man, I've been in LA fucking area for the longest now, and like I know Compton, Watts, Paramount, I mean fucking San Pedro, even fucking San Bernardino, because I walk. I actually do my walk. I do my fucking footwork, and I pay attention to fucking everything. I know where's what is what, and I know where there isn't, and I know where there is, and I guarantee you that whatever it is that you need, I could get it for you. Or I know somebody that could get it for you. Or I could guide you in the right direction.
Vic, let me ask you one last question. What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Don't judge the book by its cover. You'd be surprised. Yeah, that's my biggest regret. Judging somebody by the way they look. Yeah.
All right. Vic, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
When I was designing the first White Underbelly book, I realized that there were so many great portraits that weren't going to make it into that book. They just wouldn't fit. And once I saw how well that first book sold, I knew I'd have to design a second book. This second book is finally ready to ship. Like the first one, this book has a collection of some of the best portraits from Soft White Underbelly, accompanied by a quote from that person's interview. This book features another group of Rebecca portraits, as well as a collection of color images of the Whitaker family, and plenty of others. You can order yours for $125 or $150 for a signed copy at softwhiteunderbelly.org. Again, like the first book, once this book is sold out, I will not be printing more of them. The portraits are what Soft White Underbelly is all about, and these two books contain the best of all that work. Thank you for watching.